I completed LEGO Star Wars, the Skywalker Saga. Not did I just play through the movies and just complete the missions, no. I 100%ed this game. Now, I don't like Star Wars, but I love LEGO Star Wars. Now, you might ask yourself, how does that work? Well, let me explain. We just have a very well-built game with thought put into the systems and mechanics. You just get an amazing end product. From the game's story to its gameplay mechanics, combat and movement, to the world design, level design, and all the collectibles that you can get, and all the Lego-styled comedy and humor added, when all that is just extremely well made, you get a great end product. Now, to go into a few specifics, we'll start off with the story. Now, the story is just Star Wars, plain and simple, right? You got Anakin, you got Obi-Wan, you got a few Qui-Gons, you got Darth Maul, Darth Vader, Darth this guy, Darth there, you got Rey, Luke, Yoda. It's just Star Wars. It's plain and simple Star Wars. If you really like the story, you'll enjoy it. If you don't like the story, you still might enjoy it because it is just the Star Wars story with a bit of a Lego twist on it, so it is still very good. And as we all know, the Star Wars story is just a good story, so, like 10 out of 10, 9 out of 10, whatever you want to rate it, it's just a great story overall. Now that we're done with the story, going on to stuff that actually can be up and down, let's have a look at the gameplay. Well, the gameplay for the game is, the best way to describe it, in my honest opinion, is simple, but not too simple to cause, brain-numbing gameplay, but it's also not overly complicated to, cause confusion and too much variety. It's actually a decent amount of gameplay. The Jedis and the Sith usually have very cool and unique attack patterns, having some really cool combos, jump combos, normal attack chains, force combos, all like that. Very, very fluid as well at the same time of being, like, pretty expansive for the expectations of a LEGO game. It's also extremely fluid. Nothing feels clunky, specifically with the combat. It all just feels amazing. Because if I will say, the old Star Wars games, pretty simple gameplay and not much expansiveness. The Skywalker Saga has done an excellent job at refining that, like, lightsaber gameplay to a point where it feels extremely good. Now, every other character that isn't a Jedi or a Sith suffers. You're punching people with your hands. You're not doing much, really. Let's be real here. You're just going to town with fists, and that's about it. Now, if you have a blaster, well, if you're a bounty hunter, you're absolutely in heaven. But if you're just like a regular stormtrooper with a regular single-fire blaster, you're not doing much either. So there is a specific amount of characters that feel very good, but once you delve into characters, a bit more niche characters, not mainstream characters, no Anakins or whatever, it becomes a bit more boring gameplay, not too much going on. But besides the combat, the movement and where you're moving in the game, it's all just amazing. Jumping is good, double jumping, the general traversing around the map, you've got a sprint. I don't think sprints were a part of the old LEGO games. Now this one has a sprint, which is amazing. You get movement speed, or sprint speed rather, through a perk tree, which is really cool. So overall, really, really good overall gameplay. Specifically, the combat is chef's kiss, really, chef's kiss. World design and level design has also done extremely flawlessly in the Skywalker Saga. Now, you can look at it the same way that you do the story, in that it's just Star Wars world design, and, the levels are designed to whatever Star Wars depicts them as. But I also feel that a lot of things were just interpreted and then added, and they look amazing. I'm not a Star Wars fan, so I can't vouch for this. But, I don't know if we go into every single room in the Death Star. I don't know how many rooms in the Death Star we explore. But in this, you can go into the Death Star and see different rooms and whatnot. Who knows if they're accurate, but the fact that it's there is really cool. But even looking at some of the more canonical episodes, like going to Dagobah and Tatooine and all these stuff, it all looks as it should. From my knowledge, from my limited knowledge of Star Wars, it all looks great. And even going on to it being a LEGO game, I feel like all the levels are made with the thought of, you'll replay this. The whole game is made around the concept that, yeah, you'll come back here and re-explore this. So don't worry about getting everything right now, because, you'll come back. We'll get you here again. And I think that's a really cool thing, because early game, there are certain things and certain collectibles and certain areas that you can't even reach without getting to a certain movie to unlock a certain thing. I won't spoil what it is, because maybe some people want to play it. But yeah, there are certain times where you just have to move on from this level and not collect certain things because you have to come back to them in the future. When you have a level design like that, it really doesn't force replayability, but it's not like a certain level of replayability where it's tedious and annoying. It's just some casual, okay, I'll just go do this and then I'll come back. It's not too much of a big deal. And I think that's really good design. Now, the difficulty of these levels and zones, well, that varies. From my understanding and from my kind of experience, if you will, the further into the movies you go, so starting off from 1 to 9, the further you go up, the slightly harder the puzzles are. They're nothing too drastic. You won't sit there being puzzled, trying to, figure out arithmetics and integers and whatnot. It's just kind of a slight, oh, you need to do one extra step kind of thing, which is fine, and nothing is too difficult in any way. It's usually jumping puzzles or just looking with your eyes. That's what I've discovered about myself, is that I don't look enough, and by playing Star Wars, I've discovered that I need to open my eyes when I play video games sometimes. And that's the extent of the difficulty of the game, which is, it's a Lego game. What do you expect? It's literally made for children. The Completioner's Challenge. The collectibles, if you will. There are a lot in this game. Some would say too many. I wouldn't. But there are very, very many collectibles. Let's list off a fair few of them. You've got 400 odd characters to collect, most of them being reskins or extra characters. You've got 150 ships, ranging from normals to capital to micro ships. Got 225 mini kits, 1,166 Kyber bricks, I believe. 9 movies to play through, with 5 missions per movie, and then 3 challenges per mission, equaling way too many challenges. You got some remote doohickeys that let you buy those classic Lego extra buffs, like more studs and bigger heads and baguette lightsabers. And then all of this culminates into getting 100% with just a few extra challenges here and there that are just kind of specific tab things. And this sounds like a lot of things, right? But in reality, not really. You are able to do it within a timely manner of about 70 to 80 hours. That's my time. I think I have about sub 75-ish hours. So if you are just kind of not quote unquote rushing it, I wasn't really rushing, but if you are going through it at a moderate pace, you can get it under 100 hours. Generally speaking, it is a lot to do. There's a lot of replaying, there's a lot of redoing, but this is the classic Lego game. All Lego games have this, and the Skywalker Saga just really blows it to a different level. It's like 2 times most games, and it's very good. It's a completionist's dream, if you will. Now, with those 4 major topics essentially out of the way, the 4 things that I think were the biggest hitters for the game, and the areas that I can vividly outline as being extremely well designed, why do I really only give this game like about an 8.5 to 9.5 out of 10? And that's because I'm gonna be real, and this could be a hot take, and don't, attack me because I say this, but 60 to 66% of the game is a remake. Now, that's not a bad thing. That's alright. I like playing remakes, especially if they're really refined, like Skywalker Saga is. It is a remake, but extremely, extremely well remade. It is still a remake, so you are playing through the same story, experiencing the same things, just in higher def. But there are certain aspects I think that they could have done maybe slightly better. I think they could have tweaked. And one of the areas is the skill tree system, or the perk system, if you will. Some of the many classes that there's about 8 or 9 classes, I believe, and only about 2 of them feel like it's worth upgrading. And those 2 are like the Sith and the Bounty Hunters, because it feels like you're gaining something. In the Sith skill tree, you gain a Force Choke, which is amazing. You can kill enemies a lot more consistently. And in the Bounty Hunter tree, you're gaining gold increase. You gain like higher damage through multi-shots. You gain like an EMP for droids, and you gain X-ray vision on villains. Whilst in many of the other trees, it doesn't really feel like you're gaining anything that can be consistently useful as you play through the game, or even as you replay the game. And just to spitball an idea, I feel as though maybe they could have added some sort of, maybe in the Jedi tree, there could have been some cool ability like, Jedi mindset or something like that, where you just are in a state, whilst you're blocking, you're perfectly reflecting like blaster bullets or blasters, whatever they're called, the blasties, the pew-pews. You deflect them very accurately at the enemy, being able to very easily kill them with their own shots. I feel like that could have been a cool thing. Force lightning would have been a really cool one for specific characters, maybe. I feel, yeah, that's a big feature, is that I feel some of the skill trees just weren't really put into thought as to what they could do with it, but they were just given general things to not feel as overpowered. But then you look at the Bounty Hunter tree, and you just blast the hell out of everyone with like 5 billion shots per second. But even with that slight negative, I think this game is a must-play almost. It's very close to being a must-play video game. If you have no problem with the Lego build or the Lego styled games where there's a lot of humor, there's a lot of childish comedy, and a lot of twists to the story, if you will. The Star Wars story is told here, but it's definitely with a Lego twist. If you don't mind that, then I think this is probably one of the best Lego games to play, because who doesn't like swinging around a plasma sword killing at guys? You know, it's just cool. And also with the whole Star Wars thing, I'm not a Star Wars fan, but I still enjoy these games because I'm getting the Star Wars story, but like in a very comical way, so I can also make fun of it along the way, the same way that the game does. This game in my mind is a solid 9.5, 9 out of 10, and it's probably not going anywhere below that. The nostalgia I get from playing the old Lego games, and then replaying this one and just seeing all the scenes again is absolutely flawless, and I really can't recommend anyone play this game enough. If you have the time, which there's not much of a time sink into the game, if you have the time though, definitely look into getting this bad boy. If not, maybe on sale, snag it and play it, you know, slowly over the year. But that's pretty much it for this video. I'm not a reviewer, so I just wanted to talk about the game and I wanted to share my thoughts on it and kind of doing a bit of an appreciation video because this game is very nostalgic for me. I love Star Wars, I like Lego. I don't love Star Wars, but, you know, I appreciate it. I love Lego, and I think this is a great game. Thank you guys. Catch you guys in the next video. Peace out.